Good morning. Welcome. Today is Sunday, August 10th. Welcome to the live stream. My name is Angela. I am a software engineer and front-end developer in St. Paul, Minnesota. Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. Boy, do we have an exciting day planned. My goodness. Yesterday we started working on a new project, a category filter. Let me get this pulled up here. Of course, I thought I was just ready to go. I mostly was ready to go. Let's see here. Where are you? There we go. There we go. Oh, and we have a couple people here. Rahul is here. Welcome, my friend. So happy to see you. And Ratik is here. I hope that I am saying your name correctly. Please, anybody, if I say your name wrong, please tell me. Give me the phonetic, like a 5-year-old pronunciation. And oh, Go Elmo Go is here. Hello, hello. So happy to see everybody. Listen, do me a favor. First of all, if this is your first time here, welcome. We have had a little growth spurt on our little channel over the last couple of weeks. Do me a favor, like this video. If you're not if you're in the chat, you're subscribed. But if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We would love to have you. I stream front-end development, HTML, vanilla CSS, vanilla JavaScript every Saturday and Sunday morning. We are here to practice, have fun, get better, collaborate, and share ideas. That's the whole point of what we're doing here, and we would love to have you. And I really would love the opportunity to push out my content to more people who want to learn front-end development. So there's that. Monique is here. Welcome, Monique. And okay, good. Yes, I am pronouncing it correctly. Thank you. Monique and Go Elmo Go are our moderators in the chat, and they are just here to, keep everything fun and friendly. But I have to tell you, we don't really have that many shenanigans on our live streams. Mostly, I find that people coming to hang out are just love front-end development, and they're here to just relax and enjoy talking about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, because we are all massive nerds here. We are all massive nerds, right? Uh-oh, Emilio did not have power and internet. Ooh, sorry to hear that. That's too bad. Glad that you got that back. Boy, if my internet goes out for like 20 minutes, I'm a wreck. I'm a mess. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Read a book? Like, what am I supposed to do? And I mean, obviously, yes, I can find things to do if my internet goes out, but like, I don't have cable. I stream everything. I'm obviously chronically online all the time. So glad, Emilio, that you have your services back. So we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday. We got all of the HTML done for this category filter page, and we are making some modifications because this mockup is about 8 years old. It's from 2017. We are going to do three ways to search. So we are going to have a category search and a color search, and it's going to be checkboxes. At the top, we're going to have an open text search, so you can just type in, and then that specifically is going to look for the name. We also have, let's see here. We also have a products.json. So we wrote the JavaScript yesterday to pull in our product data. So we have that all working in our markup. Today, what I'm really hoping to get done today is styling this header, which is, I would say there's definitely some complexity in this header. I I don't have there isn't anything in the mockup that tells us what to do on mobile for this top banner. For the navigation, I'm just going to do my standard mobile accessible responsive navigation. That's how I wrote the markup yesterday, so I feel pretty confident about handling that. And we're just gonna see how it goes. We're just gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna do things a little out of order today because I just want to get some things in place before I start the header, just so the page looks presentable. So, and if you are interested at all in this project, I do have a GitHub repository linked down in the description with a GitHub demo page. You are welcome to clone, fork, whatever you want to do if you want to follow along, or you just want to use it for one of your own projects. So, my ISP is CenturyLink. Yeah, CenturyLink. Kevin is here. Good morning, everyone from Massachusetts. Love these live streams. Kevin, welcome. Ooh, Massachusetts. You guys are in the news quite a bit these days. I wouldn't say that I'm like a true crime fan. I'm sort of into LawTube right now, and I am following a lot of the drama in Massachusetts around, I don't know, should I even say it? Because I don't want to be like political or hot topic here, but I'm following a lot of the Karen Reed Turtleboy stuff going on right now in Massachusetts. So I don't know. It seems like a pretty interesting place right now, Massachusetts. Welcome. And I'm glad that you enjoy the streams. So happy to have you. All right. Should we just jump in and do some coding? What I would really like to do first, well, let's go ahead and start our style.css. And get that in here. We need to also pick a font. Yeah, Long Going Saga is right. It's interesting to watch from afar. I'm in Minnesota, so it's interesting to watch from afar. So, and you know, when I do watch it, it leaves me with the impression that every single resident of the state of Massachusetts is following along, which I know is not true. So, anyways, it's interesting to watch. So, okay. Probably a can of worms that I shouldn't even bother opening up, honestly. But here we are. Let's grab some fonts from Google. Oh, and go Elmo go. We're going to create a logo this morning as well, and it's finished in Affinity Photo. So we will do that next. You'd rather code. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Because if anything was going on like that in Minnesota, I for sure would not be talking about it. So, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So, let's just go to Google Fonts. So we're going to kind of be guessing at what our fonts are. This to me kind of looks like Montserrat. Do I have that right? No, the W is different. So that W has like a little crissy-cross. I feel like I know what this font is. Although with that being said, I do like Montserrat, and we haven't really used that. Montserrat. We haven't really used it, so let's go ahead and use it. Why not? And you know what? We're just gonna grab the whole shebang. Why not? And then I'm just going to copy this into our style.css just so we have it here. And then, you know what? Let's do what we did last time for our serif font. Let's just use like a system default serif, like Georgia or something like that. And then we don't have to load any additional fonts because we hardly use any of the serif styles here. And I personally like Georgia, and that's on almost every operating system and machine out there. So, oh, that's Railway. Yes. Yes. I knew it was something that I had seen before. Hang on. Rahul for the win. Rahul for the win. Yep, there it is. Okay, let's do Railway. Thank you. Actually, let's go back. And beautiful. Yeah, and then we're just going to use Georgia as our serif. Love it. Love it, love it. All right, let's close this. We don't need this. We have Railway linked. So let's make a logo out of LaBelle using Georgia. So we'll go ahead and we'll just go ahead and do it now. No problemo. So let me open this up here. Fire up. So I was a Adobe Photoshop user for years. Let's see here. Let's do this. I was an Adobe Photoshop user for years, and last fall, I think it was last fall, I switched to Affinity because I wanted to get out of the subscription. I wanted to get out of the subscription ecosystem with Adobe. So let's see here. And you cannot see that. Hang on here. Let's see. I can't make this bigger, unfortunately. I don't think it's bold. And I realize that this is not necessarily Georgia. I just want the easy. I don't want to pull in another font just for a few headers that happen to be a serif font. So yeah, Affinity Suite is amazing. It was like $180 for Photo Designer and what was the other one? Publisher. I don't remember all the names, but I've definitely used is Playfair Display like a default, like a system default? That's the only reason I'm going to use Georgia, is because I know it's like a system default for Mac and Windows. That's where I'm sort of landing on that. So I'm just going to put this in the middle. I'm also going to, where are we here? I'm going to color pick this green color. Just like this is very quick and dirty, but it works. I'm going to get this out of the way first. So you can't really see it. Unfortunately, I have it in a different screen. But there, I just color picked that green color. And then the best way to do this is to go to text and hang on. It's like obvious, but I can never find it. Convert to curves. So in Affinity Photo, it's convert to curves. I think you wouldn't do this in Photoshop. You would do this in Illustrator. When I was using Adobe, it was an Illustrator, and it was convert to outlines. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But in Affinity Photo, we're going to do convert to curves. And now it's no longer a font. Each of these letters is literally a series of curves. So now we can export this, and then let's, if we go to layer, we can, hang on here, document, clip canvas, just like that, and then export as an SVG. Right there. 10K. Beautiful. Raster DPI. I'm going to do 300. 11K. Perfect. What are the presets? Digital small size. Okay. For export. I'm going to do for export. We'll go ahead and export this. Let's see here. Projects. Category filter. SVG. And we'll just call this LaBelle logo. Save. And hopefully this worked. That's never happened that smoothly or easily for me. So I'd be really happy if it worked that smoothly or easily now. So this appears to be fine. I like to look at these in the browser because it's XML. So we can open this in Chrome. I mean, beautiful. Let's just take a peek here. And now we have this beautiful SVG. We love this, right? So you can take any text, logo, anything you want, especially for something like this. Like if this was the only font of this type in the entire site, and you don't want to pull in a font or use a system default like we're going to do, you could just take it and type it out and turn it into an SVG. If you don't convert it to curves or outlines or whatever it's called, you can still export it as an SVG, but it still calls the font as like an inline style. I've learned that the hard way. So you do have to do that extra step, but I think it's totally worth it. So there you go. Go Elmo Go. This was a special request from Go Elmo Go, and I think it was awesome. Like, I think it was a great request. So, because this is an extremely helpful thing to learn how to do. So there's that. Okay, so let's do some basic structural styling, and then we can go ahead and start getting this header whipped into shape. And you know what? We'll just see how far we get today, right? I think we had like a spectacular day yesterday getting everything, getting all of our markup done. So you are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. I love it when people ask me to show them how to do things. that's the point. That's the whole point of being here. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm just going to close this. We don't need it. All right, so let's just do some base styles. So we'll do root. We'll do white. Oh, I should have kept that open. Well, we can grab the hex code. That's actually a good accent color, so we'll grab that hex code. So white is this. We'll do gray. This is quickly turning into one of my favorite parts of a new project, setting up my base CSS styles. There is something about this that is so deeply satisfying and that I enjoy so much. Oh, and we also need to grab some normalize styles. So we have white, black, gray. And then let's figure out what this green color is. We'll also check and see if that green color has where that green color lives in terms of accessibility or contrast. So we should have a hex code here somewhere. And it's an RGB value. So let's see what happens if we use that. I'll just call it green. That worked. That totally worked. Look at that. We love that. How cool is that? Technology, I'm telling ya. Okay, so there's our root. Then on the HTML element, we'll do box sizing, border box. And then we'll do some wildcard, we'll do some wildcard and pseudo classes before and after. Excuse me, pseudo elements, not pseudo classes. And then on the body, I'm going to say padding 0, margin 0, font family. Oh. I was going to copy this. And for weight, I'm just going to put in 400 as the default. And then font size, I always say 100%. Line height. So for plain text, I almost always set 1.65 as my line height. When it comes to headings, the H1s, H2s, H3s, I almost always end up changing the line height to 1.25. That's just how that seems to shake out. If you hover on the color tile and click the top part of the pop-up where it says RGB, you can change it to hex code if you prefer to stay with hex codes. Wow. Okay. That was kind of cool. Thank you. Thank you for telling me about that. What else can we do? Okay, hang on. HSL. HWB. Never even heard of HWB. LAB. LCH. Okay, now you're just showing off. Look at that. That's that is a neat trick. That is a neat trick. Thank you for telling me that. So, oh, and my last thing that I will say about line height is that it should be a unitless number. Line height is a multiple of your font size. You can put in units, the browser will still accept it, but it's meant to be a unitless number. So, and then we're going to set our text color to black, which is really just kind of like a really dark charcoal gray. And then we are going to set our background color to white. And those are our body styles. Next, I like to, on my figures, just remove the margin as a base style because I always end up removing it anyways. For images by default are display inline, so I like to change them to display block. It's a little easier for styling. And then we say max width 100% and height auto. That makes them nice and responsive. Next, I've started changing my SVGs to display block. Again, SVGs by default are display inline. One moment here. All right. So I do like to change my SVGs to display block. By default, they're display inline, and they're just so much easier to deal with when they're display block. And then let's go ahead. Yesterday, I removed the all of the icons that I got from Ionicon. I tend to get the they've got different versions of icons. I always get the ones that use a stroke, not a fill. They're just a little cleaner. And the attribute always says current color. And I remove that, and then I have more control over styling. So I'm just going to go ahead and set the, well, it's not the fill. We're just going to go ahead and set the stroke to black, which shouldn't apply to the logo because the logo has an inline value. So this should not override our logo. And then I think all of those SVGs have a class of Ionicon. So I think I am going to set a base value for a width and a height. And I'm going to start with 3 rems by 3 rems, even though I think this will change because not everything is a button. Some things are purely decorative, but they're just kind of blowing up my page right now. So I just want these to be not blow up my page. So beautiful. Look at this. Have you ever seen anything so beautiful in your entire life? I don't think I have. It's a work of art. It's just a work of art. How do you not love front end development? I don't get it. Some people don't like it. Okay, so we have some base styles. Let's go ahead and kind of tidy up that grid. That's the kind of the last thing I want to do, and then we're gonna attack this header. So our grid is right here, product grid. Display grid. grid template rows. Oh, we need to do the outer parent also. That's fine. So repeat 3, 1 FR, right? I think that's right. And then I'm going to do a gap of 1 rem, and we'll see how that looks. Oh, and our images. Hang on, we need to take care of our images too. And then, so our images are in figure tags. So we're going to say width 100%, height, auto, and then let's set the aspect ratio to 1 by 1.5, and we can play with that. I think this is a little too much. I understand that this mock-up was made probably for like people standing up and wearing clothes. We don't have those types of images, so I don't think they need to be this tall, have this much height. So we'll just play with it and see how that looks. And then we'll do figure, image, and I'm going to say width 100%, height 100%, and then object fit cover. Okay, hang on, what's wrong with my grid? Display grid, grid template rows. What did I do wrong? Grid template rows. Hang on, don't tell me. Hang on, I have it in my notes. Let me check my notes. I'm still new to grid. Grid template columns. Oh wait, no, yeah, grid template columns, not rows. And we do need a comma. There we go. So now we have yeah, that's about right. That's about right. And then let's get our sidebar in line. So here's our sidebar. Here's our products. Oh, I think that we need another container. Yeah, I think we're going to just need another container. Well, there's the grid wrap. Here's the product meta. We do have a container. So I actually think this product meta needs to not be in. Could be right. Well, but it needs to be, I think it should actually be inside of our products. But can we put that inside here if we're also putting in dynamic? Does it replace everything? No, nope, it's still there. Okay, good. Perfect. So here's our product meta, here's our products. I think we just have to say product meta. We'll play with it. We're going to play with it. Let's get our sidebar in order. So we'll do grid wrap. That should be an underscore. Yep. Yep. Sometimes you need commas, sometimes you don't need commas. I'm like, there's no rhyme or reason. Kevin, you're not talking too much at all. I know I'm talking too much, but I use a function for grid that is automatically responsive, repeat, auto fit, min max, min 100% base width, 1 FR. The base width is where you need to set to your liking. I'm going to screenshot this. Because Traversy Media did something very similar in the tutorial. I did a Traversy Media tutorial to learn grid, and he did something very similar to what you just described, but I'm still kind of wrapping my head around it. So, but thank you for that. Thank you for that. I'm going to screenshot that and put that in my notes and play with it. So, okay. So let's do the grid wrap. You're never talking too much. Seriously, if anyone's talking too much, it's me. So there's that. Okay, so display grid. And then we'll do grid template columns. And I'm going to do 1 FR and we'll try 3. This is the other thing about grid that I find pretty interesting, and we also need to get this into well, I think we could just do this on our main container actually. There we go. And I need this though to be a full width. So can I make, so can I have this, if everything else inside product grid repeats, can I have this one thing? Yeah, I can have this one thing span the full width. Hang on. I know we can do that because Traversy told us we could. Where are my notes? Here we go. Yeah. Grid column 1 span, so grid column 1 span 2, right? Grid span, yeah, span 3. So product meta grid column 1 span 3. That worked. I think that worked. Almost. So it's supposed to, oh yeah, it did, it worked. This would never be this easy with Flexbox. This would never be this easy with Flexbox. And then let's put a gap. We'll go ahead and put a gap on the grid wrap. So glad. Go Elmo Go asked me to try grid, and I'm so glad I listened. So glad. Look at that. Perfect. This is all I really wanted to do today, is to just make sure that this page was somewhat put together. even though everything below this is kind of a mess, just to make sure it was somewhat put together. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's get crack-a-lackin' on this header. Thank you, Monique. I appreciate it. Now that I'm spending more time editing these streams for project videos, I definitely watch back the videos and I'm like, wow, Angela, you talk a lot. So, okay. Oh, and let's make sure that we have an access hidden class. Love grid. Love grid. I am. Did I do it right? This is the example that Traversy gave. So it looks right in the browser. It looks right in the browser. So, I mean, it still shows the grids. It still shows the gap. So, yeah, I think I need it. I don't know. I feel like this is working. Yep. I mean, these are all block level now across the top, so that's perfect. That is perfect. Excellent. All right. Okay, so we need a class, our code for access hidden, which I can almost, I can never remember. So I'm just going to go grab it from our last project. And access hidden is meant to be a screen reader friendly way of hiding text. So we can add this class to anything that we don't want to display on the screen, and that will automatically hide it but still read it. So the first thing I had up here was an H1 at the very top of the header, category filter project, because I don't think that LaBelle should be the H1. I mean, if this was the home page, I think you would want LaBelle to be the H1 because it's probably the name of the business or the company. This to me is not a home page. This is an inner page, a category page. So I think it's common on home pages where to have the, I think it's common on a home page to have your site name or your site title be the H1, but on inner pages, they are not. So then on an inner page, you would want the actual page to be the H1 or the site title, which technically is down here. I decided to just go ahead and put it right up at the top so it gets read before anything else on the page. To me, that is a best practice for SEO and for accessibility. So that's what I've gotten into the habit of doing. All right, so here we are on our header. So meta header is first. Right here. Meta header. And we've got 3 items. I think we should put a wrap around these. So I'm going to do a class of, I'm just going to do a class of wrap because we're probably going to be using a few more wraps. So let's just define well, we could probably just do wrap, just like that. And then we'll do a background color of black. And then we'll do a color of white. And then our SVGs have a stroke of green. Oh, we should probably check the color contrast. I mean, these aren't buttons. Nothing up here requires user action. So I'm not particularly worried about the accessibility of an icon that doesn't require, that's not trying to get a user to click on anything. This is purely informational. I care that the text has the appropriate amount of contrast. That's what I care about. And so this is a meta item. SVG, and we'll just give it the stroke of our green color. Perfect. And while we're at it, let's just check and see, just for the heck of it, what our contrast is for that green color. So if our background is white, here's our foreground. Okay, so it passes for AA large text, and it does pass for AA graphical user interface components, so icons and text inputs. That's good news. Let's see what are we using for black? 222. Interesting. So slightly better, but the same results. AA, it passes for large text. AA, it passes for graphical interfaces and like icons and text inputs. I don't think we're going to use it for anything. We could use it for a button. We'll see how it goes. So we're skating by. So we could definitely use it for this big category text. Contrast doesn't really count if you have a logo. So the rules are a little bit different for logos. We have this SVG, although this will be plenty big once we implement it. So but a logo is not something that a screen reader can read. It's an SVG, which I always put ARIA hidden true. And then we'll make sure that we have like a span with access hidden that it like says the full site title. So, and Anik Muhammad is here. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We use this green when we are switching from grid to list view. We use this green for this sale button, but the sale button doesn't really require any user action. We could do the green for like our load more button. We're really not going to use it that much. And it looks like we're using the green down here on our Instagram. So I think we're in the clear. I actually wasn't planning to do one of these sale circle thingies. I was planning to do this, which we may want to color pick that as well. Actually, let's do that to make sure that's okay. And then we can save that as a variable. this is going to pass anything. Oh, look at that. All right. So we can go ahead and use this. What is this? Kind of like a rose color? Oh, actually, I think we got this. Yeah, that's what that is. All right. I'm surprised that that turned out as well as it did. Is there anything else here? I don't think so. Let's make sure that this green works on the gray background. Oh, why do you always do that? Just there. And then what's our green? It's not a very good sample, is it? Okay, so we get the same results. So we can change this, because I have like a light gray variable in here. We'll just update this variable to that. All right, well, that's good news. Oh, what's this gray color? Let's do this. We're here. We might as well get them. Oh. Wow, that's surprising. I didn't think that was going to turn out like that. All right. So we'll call this dark gray. I was wondering about the last resume you've created the last weekend after delivering the project to the admin, if he or she wants to change the content of the landing page, he or she must. So to contact the developer again. So I think you're asking me if you would like to fork the repository, the GitHub repository, and use the resume project for yourself. You are welcome to, in the general case. Yeah, so yes, if you would like to fork that repository on GitHub and copy it and use it for yourself, you absolutely are welcome to do it and use it as your own project. I think that's the question that you're asking me. Let me know if I'm misunderstanding. What are you working on now? Well, guitar jams. You were here with us yesterday. Welcome back. We are continuing working on the project we started yesterday. So we are knuckles deep in our CSS setup. I do not have a Discord. I did have one last fall and I decided to delete it because I didn't have time for it. So no, I don't have a Discord. For now, I've decided that the community is just here on YouTube when I'm streaming. So that's for now, that's kind of the decision that I made because I just don't have time for Discord, and I felt incredibly guilty having one and never having time to go in and like talk or interact with people. So that's my extremely long-winded way of saying that no, I don't have a Discord. But welcome back, and I'm glad that you're here to join us again today. So, okay, so we have all our colors. We have clarity on contrast, which I'm really surprised at how well this turned out, that these colors work as well as they do. So basically everything we see here we can implement. I do think that I'm not going to use this sale circle icon. If we were going to use this, the sale would have to be much bigger. It have to be much larger text. But I was really planning to just do the discounts, and we'll use this rose colored background instead. Yeah, so that works. So let's go ahead and continue to get this styled. So I'm going to make these titles uppercase and a bit bold. Where is my VS Code? All right. So here's the headline and the tagline. I'm going to say font weight. We'll go with 600 and see how that looks. I like to do a little bit of letter spacing when I do uppercase. So we'll do 1 pixel. And then I'm going to text transform uppercase. Oh, and this should probably be our serif font. So let's just create another class for our serif. That worked really well last time. So we'll do font family. I'm going to use Georgia. And we should be able to put okay, so you have questions about another project that you're working on. So Anik, if you would like to send me an email, my email address is in my About tab on my YouTube page. If you would like to send me an email, I'm happy to talk to you offline, and maybe I could help answer some of your questions. Yeah, so I'll let you go and grab my email address and send me an email, and we can continue the conversation that way. Okay? Georgia, classy. First class all the way here. First class all the way on this channel. So let's go ahead and on meta header, let's just add serif as a font. I think everything up here, there we go. Oh, I guess not. I guess it's just the headlines. So we'll do meta headline, serif. Beautiful. All right. I have to make this a little bit smaller for myself, so let me know if you're having trouble seeing that, and I will make it larger again. Meta header wrap. Yeah, no problem. Just go ahead and send me an email and I'm happy to connect with you. So let's go ahead and, yeah, should we just display grid this whole thing? Wow. Best way to learn is you just have to do it. Repeat 3, 1. How big is the gap? We'll do 2 rems. What did I do wrong? Oh, right here. And too much gap. That's better. I actually think our container maybe needs to be a lot wider than 75 rems. It's kind of my standard. So let's see here. So 75 by 16 is 1200 pixels. I kind of feel like we need to make this 1600 pixels wide. So 100 instead of 75. Yeah. Yeah, I think that that's going to be better to be just a little bit wider. And then for our meta items, I'm going to flexbox the meta items. No, that's not what I wanted. Because these have to be in a container too. Wow. This is going to be a container heavy project, isn't it? My email address is right there. Oh, look at that. It's like magic, man. Let's give this a little padding. So let's give our meta header. Beautiful. I love it. Works for me. All right, what's next? So next we have our user meta, which I meant to have a conversation with ChatGPT about if I did my markup correctly around these buttons. So for now, we're just going to go with it, and we can, between now and next weekend, I will get the skinny on figuring that out. So and we'll make sure that that's right. All right. So user meta. So we've got user meta, user meta, user meta. So I bet these, I feel like the whole head, well, this section, the meta header has a dark background. So I feel like everything else needs to be inside of a wrap. Including the navigation, because everything else has, yeah. And then this is kind of like its own container. So we'll call this, what did I call this? Item wrap. I bet we could just do it just had to be in its own container for Flexbox to work. Yeah, meta item. Yeah, I can see now that my class names are not doing me any favors. I feel like this is starting to come up more and more. It didn't come up so much on the last project, but it is definitely making itself clear now that I'm going to have to be much more structured, probably looking at a more structured way of writing class names, because this design is just requiring so many containers to do all the things, which is completely fine. So have not heard get the skinny in years. That's got to be like a Minnesota thing. I'm sure my mom, I'm sure that that's something that my mom says all the time. So I am sipping on coffee. That's it. I'm just sipping on my coffee. Yeah, thank you. Container hell with fancy pages. That's all that's all I needed to hear, because I do sit here sometimes and I'm like, is it just me? Am I doing something wrong that I don't understand the easier way to do this? And I don't think it's just me. I mean, I think sometimes I don't do myself any favors with my class name choices, even though I try so hard to just be semantic and call it what it is. This is for sure container hell, but it's fine. It's fine. So we have our wrap. This is the meta. So we're just going to call this the user meta wrap. So let's call this header dark section. And then let's call this header light section. And we'll just call this the header actions. And I think we also want to go ahead and put well, this wrap would actually be around, nope, it's around, that's right. And then here's where we're going to put the SVG that we just made. So let's clean this up a little bit. We don't need any of this. I am taking out the width and the height. We don't need that. And I think that's really all we need to do. And then let's make sure, since we did that, that we can actually, we didn't break anything. And we appear to still be good. So we'll put this right here. And then I am going to make this aria hidden true. And I'm going to do a span with a class of access hidden. And we'll say LaBelle. And we can collapse this. There we go. Look at that. That is our big, beautiful SVG. It has weird kind of does that have a stroke? I feel like it has a, it has a stroke because I set a stroke. See up here. We set a stroke up here, didn't we? So that's fine. We can, that's so funny. Okay, site name SVG. Site name SVG. And we're just going to go ahead and say stroke transparent. I stand behind my decision to set a global stroke for all those icons. Oh, did that even work? It did not. Hang on here. Site name SVG. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Oh yeah, I guess I just needed to refresh. That stroke is gone now. Okay, good. And then here's our user meta wrap. So we already have the wrap of 100 rems. And I'm going to do display flex, flex, flow, row, no, that's not what I wanted. Row, no wrap, and then space, justify content. Space between. And then we need to make sure that this has a width, kind of disappeared on us here. We'll just say a width of 200 pixels and a height that is auto. There it is. There it is. Could be a little bigger. And let's align items. I'll just say center for now. I think that'll work. That's a little big. I'll try 300. Perfect. We can adjust that if we need to. And then let's deal with some of these buttons. So for our global styles, the buttons, let's just say border none. background color transparent. There we go. And then we could probably also flexbox our buttons, right? Justify content. And then I think I would do space evenly. And then align items. Center. Yeah, look at that. And then let's, so I did sort of a default 3 rems by 3 rems for ionicons, but we maybe don't need to, but maybe the better approach is if you are an SVG inside of a button. So maybe you are a, and I'm only styling these base styles like this. I think on an enterprise level website, you would maybe want to avoid doing this unless you had a site that was set up like this. I feel like this works. I feel like we can set some base styles here because we're not using buttons any other way. We could go in on all of the buttons and just make a class of button. This kind of makes sense to me though. So any SVG inside of a button element, we can style as a base style because it is specific to that element. So it kind of is making sense to me here. So let's do 1 rem. Oops. I don't know. So far so good. Yeah, I did something wrong here. Oh, it's because I took this off. So that's fine. We can go ahead and fix that. So that is the meta item SVG, and how much you want to bet right here. So we'll still do width 3 rems, height 3 rems. There we go. I think this is pretty gosh darn close. It needs to be a little bit bigger. Railways are kind of shaking out to be a tiny font. So let's see what happens with 2. What if we, these are actually kind of small. So what if I literally just come in here and like measure it roughly? It's like 10 by 10. So that is pretty small. So we'll stick with 1 rem because the SVG alone is not the thing that the user needs to click on. 3 rems by 3 rems, if a rem is 16 pixels, is 48 by 48 and 48 pixels by 48 pixels. And that is the minimum tap target required for accessibility. But that caret, that arrow alone, is not the thing that people click on. That's why I made the entire thing a button. So let's look right here. So this button right now is 56 by 18, and that includes some default padding. So we'll make that a little bigger. It's wide enough. We'll make it a little taller so it's got the appropriate tap target. But that was the reason that I made the entire thing a button. And then I guess my thinking was you could click that button and then you could trigger a UL with like a data attribute. And then what you choose is the action that does the thing. So you click the button, you trigger a UL with a data attribute, and you change your currency to what? a euro or a Canadian dollar or whatever, and it changes the currency based on the data attribute associated with the list item. That's what I was thinking. So, but I will check this week with ChatGPT. For now, I'm happy with this, so I'm gonna stick with it. So now inside of the individual meta groups, our logo looks great. Inside these individual user meta groups, let's flexbox these so they're aligned. Yeah, this is definitely a complex header. I mean, I knew it was when I looked at it, but now I'm like, I'm like really into it. So, oh, and we have some more folks joining us. Oh, Emilio is already here. Emilio is complimenting us. Thank you so much, Emilio. Levantica Fain is here. Hello. You've been here before. Welcome back. Coding Professional. Same to you too. Welcome back. Happy you're here to join us. All right. So user meta right here. So yes, I guess I am mixing flex and grid. For these smaller things, it kind of makes sense to me to flex box it. You tell me if you think that that is misguided. But for the bigger things, like the big layout things, grid makes sense. But for these smaller things, flexbox makes sense. Yeah, you tell me what you think. And then I'm just going to give it a gap of 2 rems. Oh, beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. And then we need to give this some, well, here's our dark. Better label these. Dark BG. Start white BG part of header. So let's give our, and probably just give the, well, let's start with giving the user meta wrap some padding. So I'm going to do quite a bit, maybe 3 on the top and bottom, 3 rems on the top and bottom, 0 on the left and right for now. Yeah. And then let's fix up these buttons a little bit. Well, first of all, we need to hide our open and close button. So here's our open button over here, and here's our close button. So we're going to hide those until they should be display none on desktop no matter what. So let's just go ahead and hide those. And I'm going to say menu button, open button, oops. Oh, this is close button. And then I think this is also menu button, open button. And then let's just menu button, display none. That cleaned up a lot. Now what do we have going on here? Why do I have like this little rogue arrow? Oh, search the site. I must have just put in the wrong icon. So let's go find the correct icon. Search outline. Cart, search the site right here. There we go. And then I think our wrap needs to take into account some padding. That is the best place to do that. So I'm going to say 0 on the top and bottom because I will set the padding per container on each wrap, but I want it to be consistently 1 rem for everything else. Yeah, and that's always going to keep it off that edge, just like that. Nice. Boy, that text is small though, isn't it? Why does everything feel so, why does all text feel so small lately? I don't know. I don't know. Could just be me. Yeah, that looks actually really good. I mean, technically it's font size 100%. Is it? Wait a second. Yeah. So here's the user agent style sheet for button. It doesn't say anything here, but it's crossed out. It's overridden down here. So do I have to, but all of the font is really small. So it's not just that. But it's small here anyways. I mean, technically it's 1 rem, so I'm not going to worry about it. Yeah, zoom in. Yeah, no, totally. I definitely will zoom in, but I'm thinking about like a normal user experience of a person who's in the browser, and just in general, this is just anecdotal, that I feel like lately with everything I work on, things just seem to be getting smaller and smaller. So, but you're right. We are accessible. We are sizing things appropriately for the user. We are doing things the right way. Presumably a user who needs to zoom in will zoom in. So we're doing everything that we're supposed to do. We're doing everything that we're supposed to do. So I guess I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. And then I'm not going to do too much more up here. I'm not going to tackle any big functionality because I just want to get the main styles in place. So let's just make some of the text look the way it should. So on our So I think here I'm just going to put for our buttons, text transform, uppercase, and 1 pixel of letter spacing. Yeah. All right. Let's get some of these navigation styles in place. And if we need to adjust how we're dealing with that button as we continue to work, we can. But for now, this makes sense as a global style. So yeah. Okay, navigation. Here we go. So we already have a container. We don't need to do that on the nav element. And then I generally, there's that button that we're hiding. So we're just going to start working on main menu. So we'll remove the default padding and margin. And again, I'm going to display flex, flex flow, row, no wrap. I'm going to do, every time, justify content, space. I'm going to do space evenly, and then align items, center, and we'll give it a gap of 2 rems. We'll start with that. And then I think we need, actually on the navigation element, we'll add some padding. Well, we'll add padding, 1 rem, margin, hang on, 1 rem on the top and bottom, and then we'll add some margin of 1 rem on the top and bottom, nothing on the left and right. And then we'll add a border top, 1 pixel solid, and I'm going to use this dark gray color. We'll see if that's too dark. Might be. Border bottom, 1 pixel solid, also gray. Oh, and actually that is sort of pulled in a little bit. So maybe for navigation, we do want to add an additional max width. We can do that. So maybe for navigation, we will do max width of 75 rems. And then let's take that list style type. We need to pull that in a little bit more. Let's try 50. There we go. That works. So now we'll do menu item, and we'll style those anchors, anchor elements. And these are uppercase. So we'll say text decoration. Well, text decoration, not none. Text decoration color, because we should style an active. So we'll say text decoration color transparent, text transform, uppercase. I'll do a pixel of letter spacing, and then we'll do text decoration line, 3 pixels, and then text decoration offset. Text decoration. Text decoration, line. Wait, what is it? I don't remember. I just did it. Where did I do it? I think I did it here. Text decoration color, text decoration thickness, text underline offset. That's what it is. So the text decoration color, text decoration thickness, text underline offset. Oh, yeah, and so it's transparent now, but when we style it so there's a hover active focus, well, here, we'll just do that now. So we'll do pseudo classes, focus first, and then we hover, and then we're active. So now we'll do our text decoration color, and we'll say black. Make our color here black. So we're not transitioning the color, we're just transitioning the line. Speaking of transitioning, we'll transition the text decoration color, and we'll do 300 milliseconds, ease in out. Beautiful. We love it. We love it. What do we think so far? I'm into it. So here's what it is at 100%. Yeah. Okay. And then, I mean, I think that's the header, right? I think that's the header. So I think what I want to do today, because the mockup doesn't say how this should look on mobile. And I feel like I need a little bit of time to think about it, because this isn't just navigation that we make mobile. There's just so much going on in this header that I need like a minute to sort of wrap my head around how this is going to look on mobile. So I think that I don't want to tackle mobile styles today for the header. I want to start with mobile styles next week on Saturday. But what I do want to do is we'll go ahead and style this category filter, which is this giant green name, and I don't think it needs to be this big. And we'll mess with the positioning, and then let's just get this stuff right here kind of nicely displayed over top of the product grid. And I think that this is a great start on this project for the first weekend. I really, really do. So we'll go ahead and start with category filter, which is page name. Right here. Page name. So we'll do, well, we can just give this the serif class, and then we'll say font size, I don't know, 3 rems. text transform, uppercase, letter spacing, 1 pixel, color. Yeah. I kind of want to put it in the center though, and I generally do not like center aligning things. I don't think it needs to be this big, but I'm going to put it in the center. So we'll just text align center, and then let's give it a little margin on the bottom. So oh, it needs a little margin all the way around, doesn't it? There we, beautiful. I love it. Okay, now let's work on, this is the product meta right here. So here's the product grid. So we've got showing, sort, and view. And these two things are clearly off to the right. So we probably want to wrap these. And we'll just say product meta wrap. Just call it what it is. And I think I'm gonna change this from paragraph to div. I think that's probably the better, more semantic approach. I don't really think that's a paragraph. So here's product meta. And I'm going to display flex, flex, flow, row, no wrap, justify content, space between, so we get the two items up against the left and right, and then align items center. And then, so this is already lining up nicely. That's perfect. So let's get this lining up now. And this is the product meta wrap. I feel like we could just do the exact same thing. Good grief, do we need, oh, the UL though would probably be hidden, right? Yeah, because we're gonna, you would click the button. So for now, let's just do button has user drop. Let's do that. Bet we could do that right up here. Button has, do you need a dot? User drop. Let's just display none it until we get it all sorted out. Did that not work? There's, oh, it needs to be a sibling. Button has sibling user drop. I think that's right. Where did did I just do this? I know that works. Selects an H1 heading with a paragraph element that immediately follows the H1. I don't think that's right. I think you have to have the dot. Oh, because it display none's the button. Angela. Yeah, so that's why that's, because it's display nunning the button. So, okay. Disregard. So really what we ought to do is button plus user drop display none. There we go. So now we see the button, but we don't see the drop down. Okay, so let's refresh. So we've got sort by default and then view. Okay. Sort by button. And then view. I think we have to use the word view. Yeah. Sort by default and then view. Got it. So we have sort and view. There we go. Beautiful. This is an excellent start. This is an excellent start. I am beyond happy with this for the first weekend. So, yeah. So my tasks for next weekend are that I need to come up with a plan for what we're going to do for mobile for this header. That's the, and then I'm also going to get some clarity on how and I could see here that I'm sure I accidentally hid something here. So I just need to get some clarity on making sure that I structured these buttons and drop downs correctly. Those are my tasks for next weekend. And ideally on Saturday, we will make this header completely responsive and just get that done. And then what I would actually like to do after the header is done is just immediately drop down to the footer. Immediately drop down to the footer and get all of those elements into place, because the footer doesn't require any special interactivity. I mean, we have one form to build, but there's just nothing special really happening in this footer. It's just all layout. So on Saturday, let's knock out a responsive header and a responsive footer. And then on Sunday next weekend, we can really dig into the filtering part of this JavaScript. That's really what I want to do on Sunday. I honestly don't even care about the styles right now. I just want to get this filtering locked in, and then we can style till our heart's content, right? We can just style in QA until our heart's content. And you are complimenting my strong front end skills. Thank you. Although I don't think that being a woman necessarily has anything to do with it. I would like to think that I'm just good at front end in general, but I appreciate the compliment. Yeah. So this was a good weekend. Hey, if you're new here, thank you so much. This channel is small, but it has grown. We've had a little growth spurt over the last few weeks. So if you're new here, thanks for coming and hanging out. I would appreciate it if you would like the video so we can push this type of content out to more people who might enjoy learning about front-end development. If you're not subscribed yet, I would love to have you as a subscriber as well. So I think with that being said, I'm going to call it a day. I'll go ahead and get this deployed up to GitHub. We do have a working GitHub page, demo page as well. If you are interested in forking this repository or, using it for one of your own projects or even just following along, you are absolutely welcome to do so. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week wherever you are. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. I definitely appreciate it. Have a good one. Thank you. I'm glad you like the videos. I enjoy making the videos. So clearly I'm a big fan of front-end development. So thank you to Emilio, Go Elmo Go, and Monique Robinson. They are our mods in the chat. And of course, everybody who came to hang out with us. I appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next weekend on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Bye-bye.